Hi everyone, welcome to our workshop. I'm Andreea and he's Bethan.
And we're from the art collective Round Lemon, which is helping to bring arts opportunities to emerging artists.
And today we're going to do a workshop taking on object bodies and how we perceive disgust, how we think about body fluids, about hair.
Yeah, let's just get into it.
Okay.
So, Andreea, you're kind of taking on this workshop today. This is your area of field, really, for practice. So what are we going to be doing today?
So I was thinking we can use parts of our bodies
to make a couple of wearable items. I will work mainly with hair and body fluids such as urine and blood, purely because they seem as waste when they're detached from the body, but also because the purpose of this workshop is to start a conversation about how and why people perceive them as being disgusting.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll use fake urine and fake blood this time, so don't worry about that.
You know what, I'm really excited to do this because this is not usually where my practice lies, so I think it's really exciting to try something new. We've got loads of different materials here today. We've got obviously fake bodily fluids. This is real hair. We have some plastic tubing, which we picked up from a local DIY section in the supermarket. We have some glue as well to use.
You also have these little jars. We can use them in different ways. They can be earrings, they can be necklaces, anything really.
Some plastic pipettes, which are quite good for handling the fluid, especially if you've got them in a different container. We also have some elastic string, which is really great for making the jewellery as well, I think. We can thread things onto it.
Especially bracelets.
Very good. And also we just got some little parts to make earrings. So we have like different jump hoops and of course like the kind of clasps for the earrings. So I guess if you've got any of these materials to hand, it's great to use them, but also it's really exciting to just be experimental and use what you have to hand. You don't have to have exactly these materials. It's more about just the play and exploration.
Yeah, it's more about exploring them as materials to get a sense of their existence as individual objects, to feel the texture and to discover their properties, if they're flexible or not. It's all about what you can do with them. I like to see this process as a way of extending their life by transforming them in something else. You're still wearing them, but in a different way.
Should we start? Okay. So where would you start with something like this? Because there's so much here to go towards. What do you gravitate towards the most?
To be honest, I think it's best to not have a plan.
Okay.
Just feel the texture of every material and see what can you do by merging them together. So if you want to make, for example, a bracelet using that.
Yeah, how would you go about making a bracelet with that? Because that's such different materials you usually see. I mean, I've seen lots of people fill tiny vials with different bodily fluids like blood, but I've never seen anyone use anything like this.
It's a very flexible material. It can be a necklace, it can be a bracelet that has your fluids inside. And the best part about it is its transparency, because you can see the fluids through it.
You going to do that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all, please measure your wrist or your neck, and please make sure the tube is the perfect length, so it won't be too long or too short. And then cut it. I already done mine, and it fits. So let's start. Here we have the fake blood, which is a pain to wash off if it gets in contact with your skin, so please be careful if you're using it. To make this bracelet, it's pretty easy. You just need to fill your tube with the chosen fluid. It can be urine, it can be sweat, tears, blood, and to make it clear, I'm not encouraging people to hurt themselves to get blood to make these bracelets. I'm encouraging people to play with any parts of the body that are discarding in a natural way. I chose blood because it's so powerful, and it can be life and death. It can be purity and impurity in the same time, depending on how people say it, but also because of its color. And I think it's important to be aware of the purpose of these elements and observe the beauty and reflect on how our reaction towards them changes in different contexts. And especially when we're thinking about how some people are obsessed with excessive body cleaning.
Okay.
Anyway, after you fill your tube, you just need to glue the two ends together, and you can either use Gorilla Glue, which is quite a good one, or your glue gun. I use my glue gun for one of them, and it seemed to be a better option.
I feel like you have such a different relationship with your body than I do. Like, I feel like you're very good at using your body to make your work, and you come across as like quite, you might not like agree, but I think you come across as quite confident with your body. In fact, your ability to just use that, to, you use everything about you to make a piece of work. I could never do that. So I honestly think that because you use your body so much, you're comfortable to use your breasts to make prints and to use bodily fluids and hair, that you'd be quite comfortable with your body.
I think I'm more comfortable with the interior.
More comfortable with the interior? Yeah.
Yeah, than the exterior. I don't know why.
Is that...
Maybe because everyone has high expectations of how your body should look like, and you should look in a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
But the interior is totally the same for everyone, so...
know what? That is true. That's good. That's a really good point.
Looks like blood coming from everyone.
I know. I think that's really interesting that you say that. I've never really thought about that before. I guess you don't really think about your interior. Yeah. That's what we're going to call it now, the interior. I don't think about my interior that much, because I think we're so caught up on the exterior of ourselves, and that's all we're pushed to see. And I'm never going to have someone make fun of me because of my kidneys are weird shape. They're not the one. You've got a weird shaped kidney. I'm going to go.
Oh, look at those lines.
Right, let's make some work. So next we are going to make some hair bracelets using pipe cleaners, purely because they can take any shape and they can be used in so many ways. Ideally, we should use long hair because it needs to be wrapped around the pipe cleaner, but if we don't have long hair and we have short instead, we can glue some hair parts together and still use it, and it works. You can find the pipe cleaners in any shop at the art and craft department, and they're very cheap. That's why I use them a lot in my sculptures. The final product should be completely covered in hair, but don't worry if you can't do it from the first time. You can always come back to it and add another layer and then another layer, as many layers as you need. The process itself is quite slow, and I suggest just enjoy it. And that's why I already made a bracelet, purely because it takes too long and this video is quite short. So this is how it looks like when it's finished. You can do any kind of shapes using it. You can make rings, bracelets. I think I'm going to go for a bracelet purely because I like how it feels on my skin. You don't have to do it exactly as I do it. Just let yourself enjoy the making, be creative, and be aware of what some parts of your body can become with a bit of imagination. And I encourage people to use any kind of hair to play with, starting from pubes to facial hair, chest, leg, arm hair, anything. The longer the better. Ta-da! That's my bracelet, and I hope you like it.
Yeah, that's such an interesting object in itself.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think hair is seen as one of the least disgusting body waste products, which is perfect for someone who never worked with this kind of medium before, but also for someone who wants to overcome this feeling of repulsion towards their hairy body parts.
That's what I mean. So I think if you're wanting to start out using your body, maybe you can make body prints, which is a really, that's something you do quite a lot. I think it can be a really interesting process. You can start somewhere quite simple, using maybe hands, feet, arms, parts of the body that we show off quite often. And,
something that you're comfortable with.
Yeah, and then move on to other parts of your body if you feel comfortable. And I think hair's a great material to use. I know a lot of artists who do use it. So.
Yeah, they do, because we can make so many things using it. For example, the earrings I'm going to make now, which are not very difficult to make. The process is quite self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But I think it's also because it's profound social significance that has developed during history, and how the meaning of it changed depending on the time and context, how it shifted from glory to shame. And it's perhaps one of the most powerful symbols of individuality and identity that expresses the private and public in the same time. And it's such an amazing subject to explore, especially when we think about how head hair and body hair are perceived in a totally opposite way just because of the location on our bodies. And I think it's because of the preconception that we shouldn't have hair in certain body parts because it's not fashionable and consequently ugly, not clean. This applies to body fluids as well. The location influences the way we react to them. If they're inside us, we're okay with them because that's the norm. But if they're outside, they're beyond the limit. They don't fit in the new normality anymore. Therefore, they're disgusting.
Okay.
Which is an example of objection within the body. But please read Powers of Horror by Julia Kristeva. It's an amazing book taking on this subject, and I totally recommend it. But the message is to be curious and reflect on how you feel about yourself and why we have such complex and beautiful elements in our body, and why not use them to create something new. Why not make some earrings using the hair you find in your hairbrush, or simply by using pubes? They'll be really cute, and they don't have to look the same as mine. Just feel free to play with it. It's your hair. Do whatever you want to do with it, and it's totally about enjoying it.
I don't think it needs to be perfect, because hair as a material is very flexible.
Yeah.
And it's strong and kind of weak in the same time. So you kind of leave it, do it for you, and take its own shape. So, yeah.
And how you've displayed it as well. Like, it's not even like you've not perfectly attached how you kind of just brought it together. I guess like you'd even find a hairball.
Yeah.
After you ripped it off the brush.
He's like cat.
It's like a cat hairball. Right.
Okay.
Thank you everyone for joining us today.
And I hope you're going to make something interesting. If you don't want to make anything, just leave your comments or give us any feedback. It would be really, really nice to hear from you and what your relation with yourself is.
Yeah, and send us any images of work you might make. Thank you to Shout for inviting us to do this workshop.
And I hope you learned something new.
Okay, thank you. Bye.